Greetings here, Saima and Shadil. We missed one day of reading, and today we are back. And we were reading about Anne Frank, and we were reading her diary, and she was confiding to her diary. So the next day was Friday, 14th August 1942. Yes, it was many years before Pakistan was born, isn't it? Pakistan was born in 1947.
Born.
Yeah. Okay. Dear Kitty, I've deserted you for an entire month. Do you know the meaning of deserted?
No.
Deserted means left alone or not. You desert somebody, you leave somebody, abandon somebody. That's deserted. But so little has happened that I can't find a newsworthy item to relate every single day. The Van Dams arrived on 13 July. We thought they were coming on the 14th. But from the 13th to 16th, the Germans were sending out call up notices, right and left. What were the call up notices, Shadil?
Right? No.
We discussed it, when Margot got a call up notice. So, what was the call up notice about? Do you remember?
No.
It was when they called to the concentration camps to kill them. So they were sending the call up notices right and left and right, and causing a lot of unrest. Unrest means that people were getting.
Rest.
They were.
Unrest. No, not rest.
Yes. So they decided it would be safer to leave a day too early than a day too late. Peter Van Daan arrived at 9:30 in the morning while we were still at breakfast. Peter's going on 16, a shy, awkward boy whose company won't amount to much. Mr. and Mrs. Van Daan came half an hour later. Much to our amusement, Mrs. Van Daan was carrying a hat box with a large chamber pot inside. I just don't feel at home without my chamber pot, she exclaimed, and it was the first item to find a permanent place under the divan. Instead of a
What's
chamber,
divan?
it's a kind of a place um, where you keep things. So a long sofa without a back or arms, typically placed against a wall.
Like a sofa?
It's like a place that I just mentioned. So, instead of a chamber pot, Mr. Van D was lugging a collapsible tea table under his arm. Collapsible tea table is a tea table that can be folded and then it can be opened. From the first, we ate our meals together, and after 3 days, it felt as if the seven of us had become one.
Seven?
Yes. So they were total seven.
Oh.
They had become one big family. Naturally, the Van Daans had much to tell about the week we'd been away.
Van Daans?
They were another family living with Anne. So, naturally, they had much to tell about the week we'd been away from civilization. We were especially interested.
What means civilization?
All the people around. So they were in hiding for a longer time, and Van Daans joined them just now. So that's about civilization. So they wanted to know about the outside world. We were especially interested in what had happened to our flat and to Mr. Goldsmith. Mr. Van Daan filled us in Monday morning at 9. Mr. Goldsmith phoned and asked if I could come over. I went straight away and found a very distraught Mr. Goldsmith. Would you like to read later on?
He showed me a note that the Frank family had left behind. As
instructed.
He was instructed means to
like your teacher instructs you, tells you you have to do this, Shadil, you have to do this, like this.
Instructed he was planning to take the cat to the neighbors, which I agreed was a good idea. He was afraid the house was going to be searched, so we went to all the rooms, tidying up here and there, and clearing the breakfast things off the table.
Breakfast things off the table.
Suddenly I saw a notepad on Mrs. Frank's desk with an address in Maastricht.
Maastricht?
What means?
It's a place, Maastricht, written on it.
Written on it. Even though I knew Mrs. Frank had left it on purpose, I pretended to be surprised and horrified and begged Mr.
Goldsmith to burn this incriminating piece of paper. You tell me what incriminating means? Incriminating. Let's check it out. The exact meaning. Making someone appear guilty of crime or wrongdoing.
Incriminating.
Okay, incriminating. It means making something that makes you guilty, that you have done something wrong. I swore up and down that I knew nothing about your disappearance, but that the note had given me an idea. Mr. Goldsmith, I said, I bet I know what this address refers to. About 6 months ago, a high-ranking officer came to the office. It seems he and Mr. Frank grew up together. He promised to help Mr. Frank if it was ever necessary. As I recall, he was stationed in Maastricht. I think this officer has kept his word and is somehow planning to help them cross over to Belgium and then to Switzerland. There's no harm in telling this to any friends of the Franks who came asking about them. Of course, you don't need to mention the part about Maastricht. And after that, I left. This is the story most of your friends have been told because I heard it later from several other people. We thought it was extremely funny, but we laughed even harder when Mr. Van Daan told us that certain people have vivid imaginations. For example, one family living on our square claimed they saw all four of us riding on our bikes early in the morning. Another woman was absolutely positive we'd been loaded into some kind of military vehicle in the middle of the night. So what was happening here? There was something going on, as if there were some people who were trying to help them, and some people thought that they had seen them somewhere. Yours, Anne. So here her diary ends for Friday, 14th August, and her next diary is Friday, 21st August, 1942. Would you please like to read?
Dear Kitty, Friday 20,
Dear Kitty,
dear Kitty, now our secret annex has truly become secret because so many houses are being searched for hidden bicycles. Mr. Kugler thought it would be better to have a bookcase built in front of entrance to our hiding place.
In front of the entrance.
It swings out on its hinges and opens like a door.
Do you know what are hinges?
No.
Hinges are that support the door here. These are the hinges. Can you see them? Okay.
Those white?
These ones. You can see them? Okay. Oh, cap is loosened.
Those white? Mr.
Waskijil
did the
carpentry work.
Mr. Waskijil had been told that the seven of us are hiding in, and he's been most helpful. Now, whenever we want to go downstairs, we have to duck and then jump. After the first 3 days, we were all walking around at bumps on our foreheads for banging our heads against the low doorway.
How can you bang your head against the low doorway? For example, when you have to get down there you can see the wall there, and you bang your head because the space is not much, because you are too tall. So if you don't bow low, you are likely to bang your head against that wall. So there was some kind of low doorway that they banged their heads by mistake.
Where? Then Peter, what is?
Peter cushions it by nailing a
Because
towel
what's the what?
cushion that you don't get hurt. So they put something soft over there so that stops you from being hurt.
Cushion it by like I sometimes put things over there to do jumps.
Yes, exactly. You cushion yourself so that you don't hurt yourself. So he nailed by nailing a towel stuffed with wood shavings to the door frame. Let's see if it helps. I'm not doing much schoolwork. I've given myself a holiday until September.
Can I read? Father wants to start giving my lessons.
Giving me lessons.
Giving me lessons about what lessons?
Something related to our homework, I guess.
Then, but we have to buy all the books first. There's little change in our lives here. Peter's hair was washed today, but that's nothing special. Mr. Van Dan and I are always at loggerheads. What means loggerheads?
Loggerheads, though. You're just getting. I think we should look up the exact meaning of loggerheads. Is you're getting into somebody.
Insect animal.
No, it's a foolish
person.
or you're getting loggerheads. You're just yeah. It also looks like an animal, doesn't it?
It's like a turtle.
But here it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that here. Getting loggerheads with somebody is it means that you are getting into something. It's getting into something foolish.
So see the pronunciation.
So I think that we are not getting the right meaning. It means a dispute, disagree, or a quarrel. Okay, you get.
You can see the pronunciation.
So that was something else. It's not the turtle. It means getting in a quarrel with somebody. Okay, meddling with somebody. So that's getting loggerheads. Okay, so what happened next?
With loggerheads. And with each other. Mummy always
treats me like a baby, which I can't stand.
For the rest,
does your mummy treat you like a baby?
No.
Do you think so?
No. Mummy always treats me like a baby, which I can't stand. For the rest, things are
going better.
Don't think Peter got any nicer. He's an
obnoxious boy. He's rude. Who lies around on his bed all day, only rousing himself to do a little carpentry work before returning to his nap. What a clot! Mummy gave me another one of her dreadful sermons this morning. We take the opposite view on everything. Daddy's a sweetheart. He may get cross with me, but it never lasts longer than 5 minutes. So she's not getting very well along with her mummy, but she says that her daddy doesn't, he's not so cross. He's not angry more than 5 minutes. It's a beautiful day outside, nice and hot, and in spite of everything, we make the most of the weather by lounging on the folding bed in the attic. So it's very nice weather outside, but they have to stay in there hiding on their folding bed. Comment added by Anne on 21st September 1942. Miss Van Dan has been as nice as pie to me recently. I've said nothing, but have been enjoying it while it lasts. So I hope you enjoyed reading with us. Thank you and bye-bye. Have a nice day. Have a nice time. Good night from Saima and Shadil.